Imagine there is a land in the distance, and in front there is an ocean with strong currents. From the land extends a sturdy and stable dock with the ocean currents flowing under it. Consider each one of us as being in a boat without oars or a motor. This boat is being assaulted by these chaotic currents. In our lives, all of us are trying to arrive safely and stay on the dock. Buddha's Eightfold Path is an action plan to get our boat to the dock. However, in modern times, the water is so turbulent that it has become more challenging to steer the boat towards the dock. It is essential to understand what the dock represents. The dock represents the place where I know I am safe, I am loved, and I am worthy. Whereas the turbulent waters represent a Buddhist concept known as the monkey mind. Buddha used the term monkey mind, kapasita, to describe our human consciousness. Our minds are agitated, distracted, and incessantly chattering. Fear and negative emotions increase the intensity of the monkey mind. The monkey mind creates the cycle of pain and suffering we encounter during our daily lives. We need to use our mind and emotions to get ourselves to the dock. Before doing so, we must consider how we use judgment. Objective judgment is merely stopping at a traffic light. No emotional stress is involved. Subjective or emotional judgment is feeling impatient while stopped at a traffic light. Subjective judgment is reactionary. This triggers the monkey mind, which works to keep us enmeshed in pain and suffering. Another thing that we need to consider is that all our thoughts are actually triggered by our emotions. Uncomfortable emotions increase the intensity of the monkey mind. The chattering of our monkey mind prevents us from arriving at the dock. This keeps us in a cycle of pain and suffering. As we are being pulled away from the dock, we have default positions and blind spots. Psychology would define a blind spot as a failure to recognize emotions such as fear and distrust. This influences how we interpret and talk about reality. Default positions are the go-to places our mind takes us when triggered emotionally by a blind spot. Finances, relationships, health, and job satisfaction are common default positions in life that people tend to struggle with. We pass through these default positions and blind spots before we are lost in the chaos of the ocean. Ask yourself this: why can't we sit on the dock and pull the boat in? We are part of everything, so the dock is already part of us. Here is a thought exercise that helps demonstrate this concept. Betty and Jack were deciding on a holiday. Betty chose to go to New York and Jack chose a golf trip. They got into an argument. Jack was concerned about costs. He felt that a trip to New York was more expensive. Betty felt that golf was more important to him. She felt that Jack always gets his way and all he ever wants to do is golf. The argument became more heated and Betty gave up in frustration. She told Jack that he could do whatever he wanted. She wondered if he even loved her. Betty and Jack were both being triggered emotionally. They were reacting with subjective judgment. The monkey mind was awakened and the currents began to pull their boats away from the dock. They were moving through their default positions and blind spots. Jack's default position was that he was worried about finances. His blind spot was his partner's need and desire to be loved. Betty's default position was that Jack did not love or respect her. Her blind spot was that Jack worried about finances. So when you are emotionally triggered, do you have specific default positions? Are you aware of your own blind spots?